Good afternoon, my friends. I'm John Casey. This is the West Side Story. Thank you for coming by to watch the video. If you like it, please click like, and subscriptions are always appreciated, as are comments. Jumping into the crime report, there was not really too much of interest this week. We continue to see the rise in domestic violence incidents, but I don't think that's really a surprise to anybody. The only thing of real note was on December 5th, which would have been Sunday evening. About 8 o'clock, the Santa Clara Dispatch Center started receiving numerous calls about a man laying on the road on the San Tomas Expressway just over Walsh. The city dispatched the appropriate people immediately. They got out there and discovered that, one, the person was dead. Two, he had been driven over by at least two cars. Both of those drivers did stop and cooperated with the police department, but the poor fellow is dead. The release of the name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. I've talked about the library many times. It's just a great place. Check out their website. It's well worth it. From the What Really Happened episodes, there's a neighborhood in Santa Clara called Laurel Park East. It's south of Prune Ridge, between San Tomas and Kylie. Very nice neighborhood, probably the second or third most expensive place to live in Santa Clara. When they put up the project in '76, they put up sound walls abutting the people's backyards, and the idea, of course, was to try and keep some noise buffer, reduce the noise coming into the backyards. And the project has somewhat stood up since that time. However, there have been 3 or 4 occasions where pieces of those walls, have actually fallen down. And to give you a scope for how big that is, these things are 16 feet long, 8 feet high, and they weigh about 2.4 tons. So this is a pretty big piece of concrete. So Mr. Jared Peters, who lives on Gamblin, the street where the houses are that back up to this wall, wrote a letter to the city council asking to be heard on this issue. The idea is that the city would fix it. It's interesting to me that in the last 10 years at least, the county has fixed one and the city has fixed one. Fortunately, none of them have hurt anyone, which would probably, if I was on the council, be my biggest concern. In any case, that's in District 6, physically in District 6. And the elected representative for District 6 is Councilmember Anthony Becker. There was a claim made that Becker's comments about the wall during the discussion showed that he didn't care about the safety of anyone on Prune Ridge or Gambling, and that he was rude. Okay, I've watched the video 2 times now, and I'm here to tell you he was asking questions, but he was not rude, and I think that's just a pile of stuff that makes the flowers grow. Second one, we're doing another Kyle Rittenhouse this week. Last week we talked about him suing Whoopi Goldberg and Jay Bear. He's also not suing LeBron James. I think a lot of people say, oh yeah, he should, and they say he's doing it. Well, no, there's no complaint on file anywhere, so that's not really the deal. From the History Department, today is Pearl Harbor Day. 80 years ago, the Japanese bombed the American installation at Pearl Harbor, killing about 2,400, sinking 6 battleships, and generally, I wouldn't say crippling, but doing great damage to the American Navy. It's kind of the thing that started the whole generation, best generation ever, or the best generation that ever lived. It's a very sad point in the country's history. If you get a chance, I would suggest going to see the memorial. It's very moving. One of the parts that at least was moving for me was that the sailors who were on the sunk ships, that was their grave. They could not recover them. That's pretty scary. The dead count was about 2,400, so this was not a small attack. So that's it for the history. Next week, the blog will be out on Wednesday. Got a little family deal on Tuesday. With that, I say thanks for coming, and please stay safe.